Lead by example. Don't ever ask anybody to do something you wouldn't want to do yourself. Remain calm during a crisis. And if you remain calm, people around you will follow suit. And the last is don't be afraid to make decisions. There's too many people that are afraid to make decisions for fear that it's going to affect their career if something goes wrong, as opposed to doing what's best for their department, agency, or company. Prior to doing any vulnerability assessment, you should really start with a threat assessment first, and then do the vulnerability assessment, and then follow it up with what we call a criticality assessment. And the threat assessment basically identifies and evaluates threats, based on a variety of factors, the capability and intention, as well as the potential and likelihood that that threat's going to be executed or followed up on. And then you have your threat assessment, which is your systematic and analytical process, which considers whether a threat will endanger an asset, an individual, or a structure, and then what options or actions will be suggested to be able to reduce, mitigate, or eliminate those weaknesses or consequences. We had the financial institution in 2004 in New York City and Washington, D.C., if you remember. We had information that Al-Qaeda was going to attack these financial institutions, and our job very quickly was frame courses of action for the Secretary Ridge to take to the President. And what we did was we looked at what measures do we currently have in place, what measures could we bring within the first 24 to 48 hours, and then more importantly, what measures could we bring after 48 hours, but how could we sustain them for long periods of time? Because they're very costly to put these measures in place. And whether it's for a continuity of operations plan or a business operations plan, you're going to have to look at your mission essential functions right away and then identify them and then prioritize them to see which ones are risks and then develop a plan to be able to continue your mission essential functions, whether at this location or whether at an alternate facility. Surround yourself with good people, people that you work for and work with in the past, people that that you trust, that are loyal, and then give them the resources to do what they do best, and then more importantly, don't micromanage them. The key is if you have a plan, whether it's an emergency evacuation plan or a coup plan, is to test that plan periodically to make sure you have emergency notification recall systems in place so that if there is an incident and you need to get your team to the table, you have a way to notify them, whether it's through their home phone, cell phone, their pager, their BlackBerry, to make sure that they all arrive at the same location and are prepared to work together to, again, reduce, mitigate, or eliminate the threat. So the key is to make sure that you have your people trained, that you've done tabletop exercises, because you may be the first person at the scene to arrive during that incident because of traffic, for example. And you may be the incident commander, you may be the lead person on that site until other people show up. So you should be aware of what measures need to be put in place immediately and then being able to execute them. Being an ops officer from the agency, I've been involved in a lot of operations worldwide. Communications is the most critical thing. Anytime you do a successful operation, you need to have good communications to be able to communicate not only with your people on hand, but able to communicate back to your leaders to be able to let them know what is going on during the operations. Communications, very critical.